Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Jini. Today I'm going to share with you this soft and lovely card that I created with the Framed Florets bundle of products. This bundle will be found in our January-June mini catalog, but is available currently as part of a sneak peek promotion. So you can order yours today. So let me set this aside and I'll show you how to get started. I've got my basic white cardstock here and I'm ready to start stamping. So I'm going to ink up this swag of flowers in the memento and stamp on my basic white paper. And then I'm going to bring in my oval that I've cut with the die shape from the bundle and the sentiment. This is a birthday card, so I'm using this beautiful font on this birthday sentiment, and I'm going to ink that up and stamp right in the middle of my oval. And I've got my sentiment done, so I can set that one to the side and bring back my swag so I can color. For this project, I'm going to be bringing in my So Saffron, my Petal Pink, my Mint Macaron, and my Soft Succulent. And I'm going to start by coloring these little flowers. I'm going to start with my light Petal Pink. And of course, depending on your comfort level, you can either use the flare or the bullet tip. These are smaller images, so you'll want to be careful and use a light touch. I'm going to color the flowers here on the right and left, and the large flower that has 5 petals. I've got those done, and I'm going to be bringing in my Soft Succulent at this point, and I'm going to color in quickly the lighter of the shades on all the other flowers. I'm starting with the light one first because I'm going to build in layers with the dark. So next is the Soft Succulent, dark blends, and I am going to simply add some color here along the lines that Stampin' Up! Has on the image, just to add some contrast, some shadow, and some depth. I've got my Soft Saffron done, and I'm going to work on the Petal Pink. Now, it's always better to start with a wet edge, so if you don't move quickly, you'll want to do the same color. Next, I'm going to use my light pumpkin pie for the centers of the flowers, and I'm simply going to add a swoosh here on all 4 of those flowers. And next I've got my greens. So I am going to use the Mint Macaron and the dark Mint Macaron and the light Soft Succulent first. I'm going to bring in my Soft Succulent here and do these fancy leaves quickly. Once again, using a light touch so you stay in the line. And of course, you know our color lifter will help you push that color back when you have an oops and you need to correct it. So I'm doing these fancy little leaves first, and then I'm going to move to the next leaf type. I'm going to use my dark Mint Macaron for that and the bullet tip, and I'm going to do these long pointy leaves here. Once I have those done, I'm going to bring in the light Macaron bullet tip, and I'm going to do these other leaves next to the flower. And what I'm doing is building shades of green here quickly and easily with the different color blends. Since there's a light and dark shade, that makes it really quick and easy. I've added that, and now I'm going to add my dark Soft Succulent, and I'm just going to pick up these other leaves that I haven't done yet. Once again, these are tiny images, so you want to use a very light touch and be careful as you go. There we go. I've got my floral image. Oops, I missed a couple. Let me get those last couple of leaves. I've got the flower image done now, and I'm ready to die cut. So let me show you what that looks like in the assembly. Okay, I've got my swag cut out here, and I'll give you the link for my tips and tricks video on how to cut images perfectly every time on the PDF. I've also cut a frame out of the mint macaron and 2 of the leaves here with, or the greenery with basic white. And of course, I originally cut my oval from the same die on the basic white. So we're ready to start assembling, and I'm going to bring in my soft succulent cardstock base here. And I've got a layer of basic white, soft succulent in Color Designer series paper and vellum. And so the first thing I want to do is add my oval to the vellum. Now I like to do this first because that way you can see exactly where you want to add your adhesive when you're adhering it to the next layer. One of the things about vellum is you need to use a dry adhesive so it doesn't buckle. And so I'm using our Stampin' Seal Plus because it's nice and strong. I'm placing that on the center, and now I know exactly where I want to put my adhesive when I attach it to my designer series paper. Now if you don't want to use a Stampin' Seal, mini glue dots and or tear and tape is wonderful also. I got a little over on my oval, so I'm simply pushing back that extra adhesive that was showing, and there you go. I'm ready to mount this to my soft succulent layer and burnish, and then I'm going to bring in my basic white layer. At this point I can use any adhesive I'd like to because I'm no longer working with the vellum. Wet adhesive will make your vellum buckle, so save yourself a little time and start with your dry. I've got that on there, and now I'm ready to add my layer to the card front and adhere it down. This has got a tight margin, so you're going to have to be real careful with it and make sure you've got it on the card front. Next up is the frame, and I'm actually going to pop this up with some of our mini dimensionals. So I've got the frame on its back, and I'm going to carefully place these on the frame going around it. You'll want to make sure your hexagon shape is in the right location so you're not going over the edge. It's a little easier one way than the other. I'm going to put quite a few of these on here because I want it to be nice and secure. There we go. I'm going to remove the backings on this, and then I'm going to flip it over and adhere it directly over the oval. Now these ovals are not perfectly symmetrical, so you'll just want to be careful with where you adhere it. There we go. I've got it on my card front, and I'm ready to add my swag. Now my swag is going to go off to the side, but before I do that, I want to tuck in these beautiful pieces of greenery that I cut. And I'm going to adhere those onto the frame with my liquid adhesive. So I'm going to be adding adhesive to the one edge and the stem. And I need to be very strategic about where I put this so that it doesn't show and it's perfectly fine and will stay where I need it to do. Now liquid adhesive takes a little bit to dry, so you'll want to hold it in place. And then I'm going to bring in this bottom section, and I'll show you where I'm going with this so that you know. So if you want, you can trim the stem down. If that doesn't bother you showing, you can leave it there. But I'm looking for adhesive here and on the other end here. There we go. I think I caught that. And last but not least are these flowers. And these flowers will hide any of that adhesive that you might have had issues with. But you might want to add a mini glue dot, a mini Stampin' Dimensional to help support this. So I'm going to place one on each end, on the outside, and also here on the fuller side. That'll give me, let me show you. And this way you can see where the adhesive is going to go. I think that'll be okay, so I'm going to pull those backings off. And then I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive on this side just to catch things as I want to seat this correctly. So there you go, adhere it down, and I've got this nice little edge raised, and the flowers are covering those ends. Now, as you can see, the vellum will lift a little bit, so If that bothers you, you can strategically tuck a little glue dot in the corner as we add our embellishment. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, I've got these beautiful festive pearls here that come in 4 colors, and I love this soft green that is in the package. So that's what we're going to use from this project. These are found in the MIDI catalog and are only available while the catalog is running or while supplies last. So you'll want to get yours quickly. But it works beautifully with this because of the coordination. So I am going to pick this up, and I'm going to add a couple of these pearls around my sentiment, like so. And then if I want to, I can even have a pearl in each corner. And let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to put the pearl down here, and then in order to adhere my vellum down, I'm going to pick up a mini glue dot, and these will fold on the back of each other. So you can kind of wad it up a little bit and then tuck it right under the pearl or some other element on the card front to help hold it in place. And as you can see, you can't even see the mini glue dot under that embellishment. So that's a little trick if that lifting corner bothers you and you want to make sure it is held down. I'm going to finish putting my little pearls on here. I'm going to add a couple to my berries on the white on each side. Let's see, I'm going to put one here and one here and even one here. Just love these little pearls. They're just beautiful. Oop, and there's one little berry sitting right here that I can add it to. That adds a beautiful little touch to the project. There you go. I hope you've enjoyed this project, and if you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.